Today on Top Quotes by Top Guns, we're not just telling the story, we're letting the words of Michael himself, his doctors, his makeup artist, and the family's own lawyer do the talking. These quotes will show you exactly how one commercial became Michael Jackson's death sentence. Stick around till the end. The final quote will hit you like a magnesium bomb. Let's go. What's up, Quote Fam? I'm your host, Quote Guy, and this is the show where legends speak for themselves. Today we're diving into the single moment that every MJ historian, every doctor who treated him, and even the 2026 TMZ documentary, Michael Jackson, 30 Fatal Seconds all agree on. The Pepsi commercial fire was the spark that lit a 25-year fuse straight to June 25, 2009. Before that night, Michael didn't touch painkillers. After that night, he never stopped. Chronic scalp pain, migraines, insomnia, dozens of surgeries, and eventually, the propofol that killed him. But don't take my word for it. Let's start with the man himself. Take 6, Shrine Auditorium, Los Angeles. Michael is descending the staircase, brothers behind him, 3,000 fans screaming, pyrotechnics supposed to go off behind him, but the magnesium flash bombs were placed just 2 feet from his head. Safety regulations? Ignored. Michael Jackson, from his 1988 autobiography, Moonwalk, the reason for the fire was stupidity, pure and simple. We were shooting at night and I was supposed to come down a staircase with magnesium flash bombs going off on either side of me and just behind me. The lightning effects from the bombs were great, only later did I find out that these bombs were only 2 feet away from either side of my head, which was a total disregard of the safety regulations. He continues, "So I waited. The bombs went off on either side of my head, and the sparks set my hair on fire. I was dancing down this ramp and turning around, spinning, not knowing I was on fire." He kept dancing. For seconds, while his scalp was burning. 2nd and 3rd degree burns. Smoke pouring out of his head. And here's the quote that still gives me chills. "Meanwhile, I was kind of detached, despite the terrible pain. I was watching all the drama unfold. There's a famous shot of me waving from the stretcher with my glove on. That glove wave, iconic, but behind it, pure agony. Doctors later told him it was a miracle he was alive. One spark, and the king's body was never the same. Rushed to Cedars-Sinai. Scalp burned so badly his hair was gone in patches. Makeup artist Karen Fay, who was right there, described it like this. All his hair was gone and there was smoke coming out of his head." Michael was given Demerol, strong opioids, for the pain. That was the very first time. He had never needed them before. Pepsi paid him $1.5 million, which he immediately donated to create the Michael Jackson Burn Center for Children. Class act. But the pain, it never left. His mother Catherine was furious. She knew the safety violations were criminal. Michael threatened to sue Pepsi, then backed off, but the damage was already done. The chronic pain begins fast forward. The burns healed on the outside, but the nerves never did. Michael suffered neuropathic scalp pain for the rest of his life. Migraines so bad he couldn't function. Here's Karen Fay again, testifying years later in the AEG trial. He had daily scalp pain, intense migraines, several surgeries to try and fix it. Doctors made him promises, but all it did was rob him of more of his natural hair. That pain turned into anxiety, insomnia, depression, and the only thing that touched it? More and more painkillers. The 2026 TMZ documentary, Michael Jackson, 30 Fatal Seconds, lays it out plain. Those burns created a lifelong addiction. The addiction spiral. He became increasingly more dependent. Michael himself admitted it. In 1993, when he canceled the dangerous tour to enter rehab, he said, "The pressure, coupled with the incredible energy necessary for me to perform, caused so much distress that it left me physically and emotionally exhausted. I became increasingly more dependent on the painkillers." Notice he said more dependent, meaning the dependency started years earlier, and every single source, including the Jackson family's own lawyer, Brian Panish, points straight back to January 27, 1984. Brian Panish in the TMZ doc. He had severe pain. I believe the Pepsi commercial led to the severe downfall of Michael. He had debilitating pain, neuropathic pain, which is nerve pain in the scalp. From that moment on, Michael was chasing relief. Plastic surgeries to hide scars and vitiligo, more pills, more anesthesia. The pain never stopped, so the drugs never stopped. Fast forward to 2009. Michael can't sleep, the scalp pain is still there. He tells doctors he needs to be knocked out completely. Enter propofol, the drug he called milk. The same quest for relief that started with Pepsi painkillers ends with a fatal overdose on June 25, 2009. Conrad Murray's trial testimony and the autopsy confirmed it. Chronic pain management gone wrong. The TMZ doc literally draws a straight line. 1984 Pepsi fire, lifelong addiction. 2009 death. Suzanne DePass, former Motown president, said. In the doc, she was shocked Michael didn't end up owning Pepsi after what they did to him. And the final quote from Michael's own words in Moonwalk. Later on, the doctors told me that it was a miracle I was alive. He survived the fire, but he never escaped the pain. Let's run them back, the quotes that prove it. 1. Michael on stupidity, pure and simple. 2. Despite the terrible pain. 3. Karen Faye. Smoke coming out of his head. 4. Brian Panish. The Pepsi commercial led to the severe downfall. 5. And that haunting line, I became increasingly more dependent. Every single one traces back to one night, one spark, one preventable mistake. The Pepsi incident didn't just burn Michael's hair, it burned his future. One commercial, 30 fatal seconds, a lifetime of pain, and in the end, death. If these quotes hit you, drop a comment. Pepsi owed him more. Smash that like button if you want more deep dive quote series on music legends. Subscribe and hit the bell. Next week, we're doing the quotes that broke Prince. Rest in power, Michael. The king may be gone, but his words still burn. I'm, quote guy. Carpe diem.